So what we're doing today, we're doing Unit 1 Employability in the Uniform Public Services, and we're going through Learning Outcome 3, where the learners will participate in a simulated interview. As the interview goes, all the learners will be expected to bring a CV with a personal statement outlining everything they've done beforehand before this interview's taken place. So in today's session, we have 15-minute intervals with each learner coming in, producing over a CV, and they'll simulate a real-life interview that they could expect either at Army Careers Office or a Police HQ. The questions themselves will be based under 3 different categories, where we've got the generic interview questions, where most employers will always ask about who you are, where you come from, can you tell me a bit about yourself? We have some specific role-related questions. So this is for the learners, especially going to the military establishments, where they need to display their knowledge of whether Phase 1 training will take place, Phase 2 regiment, and what life is actually going to be like within that regiment and what they have to do to get there. So what I would expect to see is educational requirements, the job where basic training will take place, where they may be based around the world, and to clearly outline what they're actually getting themselves in for, so they can display they've got an informed decision on what career they want to go into. The other questions we're looking into is UPS qualities and personalities questions. So these are questions based around leadership, teamwork, the qualities that every UPS employee will need to be successful at the interview stage, and then education. So to tell us about what they've done in terms of their education, their maths and English, because they're core links, especially within promotion in the public service sector. This whole interview will be conducted by myself and among a panel. So to give the learner a real simulation of what it could be like. So Kalani, thank you for coming today. So the first question I'm going to ask for you, so what is your UPS job interest?
I'm wishing to join the army as a dog handler.
Right, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself and why you want to be a dog handler?
I've always had a deep underlying passion for animals and caring for animals and training animals and looking after them. And I've also had a passion for joining the army, serving my country. So I thought I'd combine them 2 roles.
Yeah, no, really good. So can you tell me a bit about the role? What do you know about being either a dog handler or... What? Sorry, did you say that?
Yeah, army dog handler.
Dog handler, yeah, sorry. I thought that took for a second there. So can you tell me a little bit about dog handling in the army?
Basically, I will be training dogs for specific roles, say for security or searching for bombs, stuff like that. And then I will also, as well as training them, I'll actually be using the dog and looking after the dog and the welfare of the dog and all that stuff. And yeah.
So you know quite a bit about the role. So you know, with the entry process of joining the military, can you tell me a little bit about that?
So the entry process, I will submit an online application to the army, and then they will invite me to my local careers office or something along those lines. I'll go for an interview like this, and then I fill out some more online tests and stuff like that, and then I will go to the assessment centre for 2 days, 2-3 days, and there I will conduct my PT tests, my medical tests, my academic tests, and also do some team building exercises and stuff like that.
Yeah, so can you tell me about where you'll go on to do your basic training?
I will go to Purbright or Whittingham.
Right.
And then for 14 weeks, then I will go on to Melton Monborough, the Army Animal Training Defence, something along those lines, for 10 weeks. Yeah,
cool. So, like I say, so what are the entry requirements for this role then?
I don't need any previous qualifications, but say something in animal care or going to a dog shelter will help me get into that role. I need to be able to lift 50 kilograms. I need to be able to run 2 kilometers in 11 minutes 30, and I need to be able to do a medicine ball throw 2.7 meters.
Right, yeah. So you do know your stuff then. So what have you actually done to prepare yourself to make sure you can pass all these entry requirements?
So I started actually trying to volunteer at places for dog shelters, but obviously due to COVID I can't. do them. But so the other thing is my physical is just starting to try and run every morning and get my fitness up.
Yeah. Do you know what your run time is for your current 2 kilometres or what your stage fitness stats?
I think it's 12 minutes my run, so I need to get that down just a little bit more.
Yeah. So you obviously know that the entry requirements is not the same requirement you'll be doing forever.
Yeah.
It's just your baseline of, if I can perform here and meet this requirement, they can train you to get better and better. So obviously you want to be working towards higher goals and not just trying to get that 11 minutes 30, but then trying to extend past that and try get, run 3 miles, 5 miles. But you clearly know your stuff. So what do your family think about joining the military?
They've all been supportive of it since I was about 4. They all like the idea. My granddad not so much, but he accepts it, and they all think it's going to do me good. Yeah.
So how do you feel about adapting to military life? So, with in terms of discipline, being away from home, how do you think you'll cope with that?
I love it, to be honest. I love the discipline. I love being away from home, just like sharing a billet with a bunch of guys and going out and doing my job.
Yeah. So, do you know the British values that are upheld it on everybody, not just the military British values?
So, integrity is one, respect, equality and diversity, I think it's one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know all of them.
So I wouldn't expect you to know them all off by heart, but as long as you've got a good idea, because why do you think you need to know about British values in terms of joining the military?
Because if I don't respect them values, I'm not a good person. To be in the army, you need to be a good person, a respectful person, and without them, you can't really serve your country. Yeah,
because you're going to be living in close proximity with a lot of people, so there is a baseline expectation of how you treat other people in terms of quality and diversity, individual liberty, respect for others. So have you ever had any foreign holidays within a schooling or education environment? So have you ever gone on a long distance trip with a school?
Not school, but I've been to France and Belgium with cadets on a World War I trip.
Yeah, how did that go?
It was really fun one, being with the people, but also like learning about the history and actually going to the places where like the wars were fought and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you've quite clearly got a really good idea about what you want to join, why you want to join it. You've done your research about the job role, entry requirements, so you know what you need to do to get there and what the process is like and what the job is going to be like once you've finally met that requirement. So what is the long-term career plan? So let's say you've done everything that we've spoken about today, you've got into the military, you've hit your regiment, what next?
I want to just progress through the ranks. I want to be able to teach other people soldiers to look after their dogs and maintain the dogs. Eventually I may go and become a vet, depending on how I feel after so many years.
Yeah. Are you looking for promotion at all?
Definitely. I definitely want to at least get up to a sergeant before my career ends.
Right. So how many years would you like to serve?
The maximum of 21, 22.
Yeah, that's fine. So usually when you do 22 years, you should have progressed all the way through the ranks, depending on how your career goes, but you should end up being a warrant officer by the end of your career.
Yeah.
So to be fair, I'm happy with the interview today. I will say, looking at your CV though, there's a couple of mistakes. Do you know what they are?
One being I didn't realise that volunteering went under what's the word? Under work experience, and I'm not sure if I filled out my personal correctly.
So what I've seen here is there's a couple of red flags in terms of reviewing your own work. Yeah. So I've already highlighted a couple of spelling mistakes straight away, whereas it is attention to detail. And this is your chance. Once you leave this room, this is the bit that stays with me and says, why should I employ you?
Yeah.
And seeing a couple of spelling mistakes are red flags. Another issue is formatting, with how your qualifications are laid out. You've written it in lines, one above another, rather than bullet points. So I should be able to read this and go, right, science, qualification, date earned, school went to, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you wrote it literally in a format that does not flow very nicely. Do you know the average length people look at your CV for?
About a minute.
Yeah, it's about 30 seconds to a minute maximum. And like I say, I'm going to have about 100 other CVs on my desk, and yours has to stand out compared to the rest. But overall, I really liked your interview because you actually knew your stuff. You knew why you wanted to join, what you was joining, and you had a full understanding of what you was getting yourself into. So overall, I'm going to say it was a very good interview, and I am going to award you a merit for this.
Thank you.
Just on your interview itself, if it was based on your CV, it would only be a pass. But because you clearly understand what you're getting yourself into, and you actually displayed your own body language and your communication skills really well. So your punctuality, use of language, response to the questions, your overall being of participating in an interview was really well. And I would employ you based on this. But once you left, you wouldn't get the job based on that.
Yeah.
So I am going to award you a merit. It's very low merit, but well deserved.
Thank you.
Happy with that? Have you got any questions for me?
No.
No? Right, cool. Cheers, Kalani.
Thank you.
It's not about tripping people up and trying to catch them out and see if they know everything off the top of their head, but it's to see their confidence and their ability to talk in a simulated scenario where their confidence might be a little bit shaky and be a bit scared of what might come out, and it's supposed to prepare them now so when it does come to the real interview, they'll be successful within the careers office.